Welcome back to our series where we are talking about technology in the travel agency industry. And I want to just talk about TravelJoy CRM here for a minute because so many people right now are in a panic. There is mass hysteria. It feels like it's the Salem witchcraft going on, and it's like the world is coming to an end. And I just want to be a sound voice that hopefully you can listen to and hear some unbiased information, but many of you, we work in the industry, right? We're in Facebook groups. I also admin like an 8,000 member travel advisor support group. This is not run by TravelJoy. This is run myself. And it's really just a place to talk, share ideas. The name of the group is actually called Best Practices because I wanted a place for us just to be able to talk about these things, but people just jump off the deep end and go wild. So I just want to talk about this for a minute. And I hope at the end of this video, you just feel a little more comfortable and a little more confident, and you hopefully are not worrying as much because honestly, I don't think you have anything to worry about. This software, the people working here have been adding a lot of features, a lot of new tools. They promised they were going to do that, and honestly, agents were asking for it. I've asked for it as well. There's a few key things that I think are still missing, but they've honestly added a lot of cool stuff, like the itinerary builder. They've added a lot more just little functional tools that like just kind of get added onto things to make things better and easier and quicker, especially with like the group booking page. A lot of agents right now are absolutely in a panic and hysteria and just freaking out because they are hearing that, oh my God, TravelJoy is going to sell all of our client data and they are a host agency and they're not doing all the things we need to do. And I want to just take a step back and just look at really like the core features that the software does. Like, I'm not talking about the new stuff. I am talking about the old school TravelJoy stuff that is still there. That hasn't changed. If you are new to using the software or you're thinking about using the software and you came across this video, you probably will want to take some notes, but I'm going to go nice and slow. But I just want to talk about what the core features of this software are, which have not gone away, by the way. So take a deep breath, take a sip of coffee if you got it, maybe a glass of wine if you need it, or an IPA beer. So number one, the core feature in TravelJoy has been the messaging, the emailing clients, right? That part has not changed. You can write an email right now just as if you were in Outlook or Gmail, which is awesome because TESS, the other CRM that my host agency uses, which is why I was looking for a better product years ago, like 5 years ago, right? They still do that. The email feature is still there. You can write an email, you can schedule an email, you can schedule an email to go out later today, tomorrow, next week. You can automate it like in a workflow. You can then also edit that email before it gets sent out, right? And if most of you that are using like TESS or Client Base, Client Ease, and those other kind of clunky systems, right, they don't really do that. So TravelJoy still does this really well. That has not changed. Number two, TravelJoy definitely has done a great job with invoices, like creating custom invoices or creating a template for the same invoice for the things that you sell over and over, like all-inclusives, cruises, river cruises, safari, package trips, non-package trip, fully custom FITs. Like the invoicing is a drag and drop form builder. That has not changed. The credit card authorization, aka the supplier invoices that we use, that has not changed. That is still there. If they ever get rid of that, I am absolutely switching now. So if anyone listening, if you guys get rid of that, I'm out. Just kidding. I don't think they ever will because that's like the premise for the industry. Only some people collect the money directly and then pay their suppliers and vendors. So the invoicing part there is still really great. Number three, and I think is actually the best part about TravelJoy that nobody really talks about enough, is definitely this. The form builder. Like especially like a new trip request. You can have like what I have. I have an Alaska cruise, specifically a form, a new trip request for Alaska cruises. I have one specific to all-inclusives. I have one specific to destination weddings. I think I actually archived that because we're not doing that much anymore. I had one specific to, I think, cruising in general. There is another one I had for, I think it was Europe. I think I have a Europe one. And then I think I also have one for Africa Safari. Because the questions that I would need to gather, right, the answers, the information I need from the client is different for those trips. So your trip request forms haven't gone anywhere. Those features are still there. They work just fine. And I don't think those features are going anywhere, guys. I know you might be in a panic, but honestly, that hasn't changed. That is the core function of TravelJoy. Collecting information via forms, sending forms out, maybe like an insurance waiver or a COVID waiver, or like a passport upload form. I think we should talk about that. This will be number 4, actually. No, let's extend this to number 4 now. I use that passport upload image form like it's my job. Like, actually, it is my job. I use that form with every single trip because a lot of times clients are like renewing their passport when we first book the trip. They're renewing it, right? And then they're not getting it for like 6 or 8 weeks or 12 weeks or longer. So then they email me before the trip. They're like, hey, my passport came in the mail. Can you send me a quick form so I can upload I can send you my passport? Yeah, of course. I literally click the little form button. I already have it templated. It's literally just the passport image upload form, just from the drag and drop form builder. I drag it over. I saved it as a passport upload form. I email it to the client. She sent it to me. And now it's in their profile. That hasn't gone away. That's still there. These core features are still there. So everyone's over here worried that TravelJoy is becoming a host agency, that everyone's worried that TravelJoy is going to sell our client data. Like, are you serious? Have you ever seen a CRM ever sell your client data? I've never heard of that happening. I'm pretty sure they would be in the news and probably be sued by every agency and organization in the world if that happened. There are some new things happening that I've heard, and so I think we can just talk about them. I've heard they are piloting like a Find a Travel Advisor search tool where they could potentially send leads for people that reach out to TravelJoy directly. I heard that's what they're doing. I don't know 100% certain. I think I've heard that through people that have shared some information in our Facebook group, in our support Travel Advisor only group. So I think that's a beta thing that they're testing. So, right, testing, keyword testing. This is not fully launched, testing. So the other thing too, I know a lot of you are really concerned about are things like now they have a cruise booking tool, right? They have a way to book cruises and excursions built into TravelJoy. I just want to remind you that you don't have to use that. You don't have to use that. If you were an independent agency, this would be like gold because now you don't necessarily need to maybe join a consortia, or maybe you weren't with a consortia. A lot of agents are out there are independent. Don't forget that. A lot of you are hosted. Some of us are hosted and do independent stuff on the side because we have our own CLIA or our own IATA or our own ARC number, our own true number, whatever you have. Maybe you have your own seller travel number. Some of you are only hosted only for cruises because the commission's higher. So just know you don't have to use those tools. You don't have to use those tools. I honestly think TravelJoy has actually done a great job. There's a couple key things that I really don't like. And I think they really need to massively improve on it if they're going to call themselves a full-fledged CRM. So for example, a CRM is a customer relationship manager. It manages your leads as well as your booked sales. TravelJoy for the longest time, and technically until still, I would say, they don't really handle the leads part. We create a trip when a client either submits a trip request or maybe someone emails us and we create a trip manually so we don't lose track of them. But it does not do a good job like Salesforce or HubSpot CRM, where they actually track leads coming in the whole leading up to working with us. TravelJoy is a great trip manager, but that's once the trip is created, like when someone wants to start working with us. They don't really do much before. And I know they were talking about doing the email marketing thing. I think that's piloting or probably going to be piloted soon. I don't know. I didn't get an email on that, so I don't know for certain, but I'm sure they will. But I already pay for a system like MailerLite. Many of you use other systems like MailChimp or Constant Contact, Aweber. I think some of you use Flowdesk because it looks nice. A lot of us already pay for that, but then TravelJoy doesn't integrate with those. I really should have integrated with them from the beginning. But again, I don't work for them, and I'm not the one who set up the software. And a lot of things have been added, as you've seen. So I wouldn't be in a panic right now. There's so many people in the group that were literally, I feel like they're posting just to create hysteria. And then someone else sees the comments in the post in the group and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm switching systems right now. Like, come on, girl, no, you're not. I know you're not, because it took forever to get it set up, right? We all spent like well over like 6 months to a year just trying to figure out how to get things to work, to smooth things out, to modify it to work with our workflow. So there's nothing really to be in a panic. And I will still say TravelJoy compared to like Turn, compared to TESS, compared to Travefy, like Travefy is not really a full-fledged CRM. Travefy was an itinerary builder that they kind of did the same thing, started adding more features to kind of become a CRM. But honestly, Travefy at its core is a really great itinerary builder. I will argue the TravelJoy itinerary builder right now, though, looks pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. It does a good job. I will say the AI importing tool, though, is not always accurate. So double check your information. Like, for example, if for some reason when I upload like a Virgin Voyages confirmation, it inputs the sailing the week after the cruise ends. So I don't know why it does that, but I don't use it for cruise importing anymore. I just use it to like screenshot like flights, especially like if I'm in a client's airline booking, like on AA.com or Delta. I'll just take a screenshot of the flight after I email it to myself, so I have a copy. But I don't even have to upload the PDF anymore. I can just do a screenshot, and that actually works pretty well. That is pretty accurate. It pulls that information in usually 99% of the time. So that's pretty cool. And you can't argue with a system like TESS. TESS is like Windows 95 that never got updated, and it's still working for uploading bookings and stuff, but it doesn't have any really great automations. The automation's clunky. Our host agency created like a tool to like almost like a trip request form, but you have to manually copy and paste then everything, all the client information, name, date of birth, phone number, address, email, all of that into TESS. It does not. There's no automation there with the forms. And again, our host agency created that. I don't think that was a TESS tool. They just created a secure way to collect that, but it doesn't talk to TESS at all. They're two totally separate systems. TravelJoy is one system with the forms, the invoicing, the emailing. And again, you can't argue though, the group booking page, I guess we could say that's number 5. The group booking page is pretty damn cool. I don't use it because I don't do a lot of contracted groups. I do a lot more flex groups, meaning not a contract. And I don't really like the group booking page because I don't like the idea of set pricing. And I don't really have set pricing since some people book today, then they invite their friends and they book a month later, right? And those prices are obviously not locked in. So for those of you in a panic, just take a deep breath, send your feedback to TravelJoy. You don't need to give your feedback to me. I do not work for them. Let me say that again. I do not work for them. Let me say it one more time. I do not work for them. I've asked if they wanted me to come on as like a consultant or something, and they just said that wasn't really something they wanted. I'm like, okay, but if they want to hire me for something, even short term, whatever, I could. But they have a bunch of people working for them, right? They do. They also have been collecting feedback from travel advisors since the beginning. There's also a small group of travel advisors that are in the original beta pool that originally signed up for TravelJoy that get features before any of us do, before other features are released. So just remember that. Like when someone posts something in our Facebook group, our travel advisor support Facebook group, remember, they might be in that initial pilot program. I guess they're not really called the initial pilot. I don't know what you would call them. The OG, the original people that signed up for them and that have been using it, they get features released first. I think it's the first people that are actually get it and see it after it's announced, and nobody else really noticed because they probably didn't check their email yet that day. So just understand, there's nothing really I think you need to worry about. I still think compared to even like Turn, TravelJoy, in my opinion, is better because Turn seems to crash every time there's any change. Anytime they launch something new, they add on a new piece of software, the whole system goes down. And I've heard a lot of agents frustrated that came back to TravelJoy because of that. Turn does seem cool. I will give them full credit. The cool factor, I think that's probably the easiest system on kind of autopilot for everything. It is. TravelJoy is still kind of like this semi-automated. I call it's not a stick shift standard Ford Ranger. But it's definitely not a 6-gear fully automatic transmission. It's like something in between. It's like almost like autopilot on the plane, but the plane's got to get up to 35,000 feet and then it can kind of fly itself for a little bit, but it's definitely not, it's not smart enough to know everything. And it doesn't know when clients respond to stuff to not send tasks and not send emails out and stuff like that. So I'm sure in the future that will change. But for now, if you're using TravelJoy, honestly, I would stick around. I would not cancel your membership. And no, I did not make this video because someone at TravelJoy called me and paid me to make this video. Just be aware, stay on top of things. If you're in our Facebook group or if you're not seeing this, join. It's TravelJoy CRM best practices for travel advisors. Please don't join if you're not a travel agent. Only do it if you're actually working in the industry, if you're an actual travel advisor. So, but if you have feedback, send it to them. Send it to them. You can send feedback to TravelJoy. You can make suggestions too for the software. So I don't like that there's a huge price increase for a lot of things that I think should be included, like API integration. I think that should have been there from the beginning. But again, I don't work for them. I'm not the messenger. I'm just a fellow travel advisor like yourselves. And I also work with a lot of other travel agents too that are trying to figure out solutions to make things quicker and easier. So just take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. And I'm hoping at the end of all this, like another year, I'm hoping that like the tools are actually like much more smoother easier. Some things are more automated and it's not so clunky. It still feels like we're kind of clunky. We're still kind of shifting gears, but we're definitely in a better shape and position than we were like 5 years ago. Think about that. Think about that for a minute. If you were just using a system like TESS 5 years ago and you've been using TravelJoy for now, I got to tell you, TravelJoy is like the best thing that ever happened. But I will say, I think there's definitely more competition now coming. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens in the coming like 1 to 2 years. Because it seems like now things right now are changing very, very fast with the whole AI world. But again, at the same time, it really would just take a deep breath, hang in there. And again, come hang out in our community and share your questions and concerns. We all help each other out. There's a lot of people in there. Again, it's over 8,000 members. Just remember, take a deep breath, have a cup of coffee, and let's just see what happens. So as always, if you found this video helpful, share this with your friend or your colleague. And if you could do me a huge favor, click subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.